Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. Happy Gatty Crypto here. So I've just been watching a person who interviewed CZBINANCE in Paris at the most recent event, I believe. So I think it's quite important because A, it gives more publicity to LUNACLASSIC. B, it's CZBINANCE talking about it, and it's kind of good because they explain, well, you'll hear it from him in a second, but I think it's really good, and I thought I'd do a video on this for the morning and try and get everybody's day started with a better kind of video instead of the one I did have planned for this morning, which I accidentally pressed post on without realizing instead of the scheduled time, and around 380 people got to watch it in the first 10 minutes it was up. So yeah, you'll get that one later during the day. Don't worry, that one's still coming. Very interesting video. So let's listen to this.
Luna UST is a very different, that's a design mistake, compounded with an operational mistake, compounded with other companies loaning other companies. It's a whole pile of problems.
So before I let it go any further, he basically explains what the core issues were. And, you know, one of the big ones there is lending. This whole lending part of it needs to kind of be a big no-no in my opinion, especially when we can barely walk as it is. So let's carry on listening.
So that's what I call the loan problem that's in the industry, well, in a few industry players. But that's not a DeFi problem.
Going back, did you ever get worried about the size that Luna was growing? Did it ever trouble you knowing that the majority of the Binance user base must have been involved in Luna in some way or another, right? Retail was very much involved in Luna. Did you ever look at this and go, wow, what if this thing fails? This is an algorithmic stablecoin.
Honestly, I didn't. But if I did that, I probably would do that with every coin. If Ethereum's pretty big, what if it fails? Bitcoin's pretty big, what if Bitcoin's bigger, what if it fails, right? So if you look at the top 10, you can say that to everything. But if I had the foresight to know this is a particular one that has a huge risk than the other ones, I would have done something. Of course, I wasn't that smart, and most other people wasn't. Hindsight is much easier.
When you saw it happening, and you must have known that a lot of the Binance users are retail, and a lot of the retail users got wrecked, and if not wrecked, lost a lot of money. How was it? How was that watching this collapse?
So it's pretty interesting, right? So we paused trading for Luna, and guess what? We got a lot of complaints from users who wants to buy it. And we said, look, we deem this is high risk. They said, look, just you're the platform. You should provide access. You don't tell us you don't tell us what to buy, what not to buy. If you
And this is the very important part, because you're allowed to go and, you know, gamble your life savings on 58 red in a casino, but you know, this not only affected people that wanted to buy, but people that wanted to sell at those tippy top parts. And we know that Binance made a trade of 1 trillion coins during that time, but, you know, if butts and coconuts, right?
Prevent us from trading it, then you're causing risk for us because the price may move on other platforms. We're like, do you know Luna is being printed at exponential rates? There's now like 1,000x more Luna than there were like a couple of days ago. They're like, yeah, we understand that. We can handle our loss we can handle the loss of money, but you can't stop us from trading. So you get all kind of different, you know, perspectives from a platform.
How do you feel being in that position where you kind of have to protect users, and it's almost akin to censorship? So it's almost like Mark Zuckerberg or at the time Jack Dorsey and censorship, saying, you know, I don't think it's safe for you to trade that. Therefore, I'm going to halt it on my platform.
So what we learned is so we only pause trading when the blockchain stopped functioning.
Yeah.
Right. So there's no deposit withdrawals anyway. So but we learned is that there's a few different aspects. The best protection is to always provide a neutral market. So especially after we listed, when something happens, especially during critical periods where things are crashing, stuff like that, you absolutely should not pause trading. There's people who want to get out. There's people who want to get in. They are scalpers or whatever you call them that want to get into this high risk assets because they want to take that high volatility. They want to shoot for the upside, and they're okay with losing some money. So as a platform, once we list something, it's actually very hard to stop trading of it. Especially during volatility times, we need to make sure our systems are up, our trading are functioning.
Yeah.
The other side about protecting users is education. We need to make sure.
Oh, microphone was still muted. Haha. So this next bit goes on about education. I like that it was spoken about after speaking about the Luna crash and LUNACLASSIC in general moving forward. But, he's got a lot of good information crammed down into a very short span, and hopefully they won't halt trading like they did before, because at the end of the day, if you want to buy an asset that's crashing, that's up to you and your decision. And that's kind of where it comes down to. Like, CEXs shouldn't censor in certain ways, but at the same time, there's always that I don't know what the best way to put it is, but there's always that kind of, you're sat in the middle of a river on a boat being pulled to both sides. You're never going to please everybody. You're only going to make it to one side of the river. You can't be on both sides at once, kind of thing. But this whole neutral perspective, I like's pretty good. So, folks, if you don't know this, Vegas has got a node up. Really cool. Really good to see this. But what I really would like to see now is possibly this date for new validators to just be brought forward. Everybody's dying to get on board. We're at a point now where we're pretty far into delegations. A lot of the people, we would have thought we saw a lot more coins leave this wallet to be staked. It's as simple as that, but we're not. So, the more validators, the merrier at this point, and we don't exactly have an awesome validator set. So, yeah, it's kind of food for thought. I have asked for this a few times, even if it got brought forward 20 days more than it is, brought forward, sorry, more than it is, because it's we are really struggling with this validator set that we've got, in my opinion. And there's this big thing about voting power going around, but at the same time, how many of these validators are working to educate people as to why they should delegate their bag and why they should delegate it with them. So I don't know how active all of these are in the community. I know Orion Money's active, All Knows is very active, and pretty much all of these ones that seem to have voting power seem to be quite active, which makes sense, right? If you're active, people are going to want to delegate with you instead of just going to a list and not even of hearing about you. So yeah, really interesting to see that. Really interesting to see that people are getting nodes, and I'm really happy to see this in a certain aspect, and then at the same time I'm also not happy to see this, because we could have quite easily bought a node for like $4,600, or we could have gone 50-50 on a node with someone else, no names mentioned, but we just didn't want to do that. And as you can see, a lot of these people are teaming up. I think Lunatic's tokens have teamed up with a node from this one. I think it's I don't want to say the word. I don't think I can. Yeah, sure you can. I think they're from Russia, so it's to support people with autism in Russia, which is really good. Autism's a real thing, and anybody doing anything charitable is really good. But I think All Nodes is going to be coming out with a 5% commission rate, which is really good. There was spoken about having a minimum commission rate of like 5% or something like that. But, I don't feel like that's decentralized. Some might think it is, some might think it isn't. But I feel this vote power situation is actually down to the validator set, not, like I'm saying, educating people. And educating people is everything. That's why we built the LUNCPenguin's website for you folks. So you have, your port of call. They spoke about endpoints, DApps and things like this. This thing in itself is a DApp. It uses endpoints that it queries from the system to get the data that it does. We make use of that. And Ed spoke about this, but yeah, it's kind of strange really, because, as you folks know, and if you haven't noticed this, it's kind of like HCCs being censored. But you know, a lot of people have mentioned it to me now. I know it's not just me, so I don't need to sit there and think that. But at the same time, all's good in the hood, so to speak. 37 days, 23 hours, 14 minutes and 18 seconds and counting. It's 1:38 a.m. here in the UK. I hope you enjoyed this video. Probably have another video scheduled for you folks later today. I'm not going to be about for the rest of the day. Going to take the afternoon off and likely head out somewhere to do something. Seeing as in I'm able to walk a little bit further, do a little bit more now that my back's getting better. So folks, stay safe out there. None of this is financial advice. Beware of scammers, doppelgangers, anybody pretending to be me. I'll never DM you. And yeah, catch you in the next one. Tricked ya.